I call to order the meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge, February 28, 2022, regular meeting. I ask everyone to stand for a moment of silent reflection and gratitude for all our men and women in blue do for every community throughout the United States, for every state, and for all that they do in service of those in need. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act. This meeting complies with the Open Public Meeting Act by notification via the February 18, 2022 Sunshine Notice containing the time, date, and access information to the town news and the record, and by posting of the same on the municipal bulletin board and the borough website, and filing notice of the same with the municipal clerk. Roll call. Council President Michelle Kaufman.
Here.
Councilwoman Montesano Cole.
Here.
Councilwoman Ellen Mesiti.
Here.
Councilwoman Indira Gutselli.
Here.
Councilwoman Claudiana Molinari.
Here.
Councilman Dario Caniglia. Could I have a motion and a second for resolution 2295, approve the promotion of Joseph Zemenes to the position of sergeant? Well,
Yeah.
okay, good luck with this. Councilwoman Michelle Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lisa Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ellen Mesiti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Indira Gutselli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Claudiana Molinari. And Councilman Dario Caniglia.
Yes.
All right. Could I have a motion and second for resolution 22-96? Approve the promotion of Patrick Diamond to the position of sergeant.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Councilwoman Michelle Cole.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lisa Montesano Cole.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ellen Mesiti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Indira Gutselli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Claudiana Molinari.
Yes.
Councilman Dario Caniglia.
Yes.
Could I have a motion and second for resolution 22-97, approve the promotion of Brenton Weisendorf to the position of sergeant?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Council President Michelle Paul.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lisa Montesano Cole.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ellen Mesiti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Indira Gutselli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Claudiana Molinari.
Yes.
Councilman Dario Caniglia. All right, excellent. Great. Could I have the family of officer, soon to be sergeant, Joe Zemenes come forward? All the family who is here are welcome to come forward. You don't have to if you don't want. Yeah, come on up. Yeah, here we go. All right, all right. I state your name.
I, Joseph Zemedes,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of
and the Constitution of
the State of New
the
Jersey,
State of New Jersey,
and that I
and that I
will bear true faith
will bear true faith
and
and
allegiance
allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the government
to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I
I, Joseph Zemedes,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties as sergeant
as a member of,
as a member of the River Edge Police Department
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Oh, All the family and friends, if they wish, of Officer Patrick Diamond, soon to be Sergeant Patrick Diamond, please come forward. There we go. Okay. I state your name.
I, Patrick Diamond,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of
and the Constitution of
the State of New Jersey,
the State of New Jersey,
and that I
that I
will bear true faith
bear true faith
and
and
allegiance
allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I
I, Patrick Diamond,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties of sergeant
as a member of,
as a member of the River Edge Police Department
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Can I have all the family or friends of Officer Preisendorf please come forward? Soon to be Sergeant. I state your name.
I, Brenton President,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I
that I
will bear true faith
bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in the state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I
I, Brenton President,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties as
perform all the duties as Sergeant,
a member of the,
River Edge Police Department,
to the best
to the best
of my abilities,
of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Okay, at this point, we're going to recess the meeting temporarily. Everyone is welcome to stay and take pictures. The council will be leaving to go to the rest of the meeting. We thank you all for coming. We thank our officers for their service, for the entire department for their support. We have a great police department in River Edge. We're very, very grateful for them. Could I? Could I have a motion to temporarily adjourn the meeting for 15 minutes? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Thank you all. I call back into order the meeting of the mayor and council of the Borough of River Edge, February 28th, 2022, regular meeting at 6:37 PM. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastide,
Here.
Councilman Kanigo,
Here.
Council President Kaufman,
Michelle, you're muted.
Sorry, here.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
I'm going to step away for a second.
Councilwoman Mal.
Here.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen,
Here.
Mayor Papaleo is here. He just stepped away.
I apologize. That was my doctor calling and I handed it off to my wife. All right, so I apologize for stepping away. All right, we've done the roll call, correct?
Yes.
For discussion, item 6A, 2021 ADA ramp project 834 Fifth Avenue. Lizette Apatola is our business administrator, and Lizette, why don't you lead this conversation?
Yes, we went out to bid for our 2021 ADA ramp replacement project. We have to change and update our ramps to be compliant with federal regulations. So we went out to bid last week. The bids are currently being evaluated, but within the scope of the project, there's one property that has a unique situation involved. And for this discussion, we have the property owner, Ms. Zenik, and our borough engineer to explain what's involved with the situation involving this property, as there is an encroachment on the borough right-of-way that was there prior to Ms. Zenik purchasing the home. And with regards to construction for these ramps, it would impact a portion of that encroachment.
Mr. Costa, the ball's in your court. You need to open your mic.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Mayor, good evening. Members of the council, good evening. Ms. Zenik, good evening.
Hi.
Hi. So basically, the ramp project went out to bid. The bids were received last week. And obviously, my office, I think, spoke to the homeowner. If you go to the homeowner's address, it's on 5th and Surrey Lane. There's a rock retaining wall. There's bushes that surround the property in the front. If anybody hasn't been there, we could probably pull it up if we have to with Google Maps, or certainly if you have some stuff and you want to share with us.
I have the picture, I could share it because it's very telling, where you can see where the work is gonna stop. It's
Okay.
smack in the middle of my property, so I can share it whenever you give me the go ahead.
If you want to do that, it'll probably make it faster and easier.
Okay, can you guys see it?
We can, perfect.
Great.
Okay, so as I stated earlier, so basically there's a small rock retaining wall. There's hedges that surround the property, and again, on the corner of 5th and Surrey. To get the ramp in that location and to make sure it's graded correctly, we need to build a slight retaining wall in the borough right-of-way and not on the private property. In order to do so, we need to remove the rock wall that's there, and we need to remove the hedges that are obviously there. The issue is these encroachments encroach into the public right of way, and they're actually not on this individual's property. So back and forth, I think with my office, I think Lisette, Ms. Senek, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I think you spoke to Lisette, you spoke to Jason in my office, possibly Greg in my office. And I think what you're asking the borough to do is to replace all of the shrubs. If you go a little bit to the right, all the way to the driveway, and continue with the retaining wall. If you go south, it looks like there's a new wall, but from my understanding, that wall was constructed many years ago. And again, there's no record in the building department that I know of. So I'm not sure exactly when it was constructed. When it was finished, when it was completed, I have no idea. But I think that's the crux of the situation. But certainly, you can add to that if you'd like.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the picture, everything from the red line to the left will be replaced with a new wall. And everything from yellow to the right is going to be hedges. So from an aesthetic perspective, you can't leave me with half of a hedge over half of my property. So also the same with the sidewalk. You're going to be building a new sidewalk. You only want to build the sidewalk up until the red line. But from an aesthetic perspective, you know, going through to the rest of the driveway would be ideal. I'm also working with an outside landscaper. I want to do more work on my backyard. So, you know, this is all like, I want to have input into what's going to be done. And if my question is, if my property line is encroaching, why not just take all the property back and fix my other wall too? Like, you can't just leave me with half of a hedge here.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by fix the other wall also. We're not
We'll put
constructing
that
anything.
one on the side. Let's just look at the picture right here. I mean, I have a very big issue with you guys just like slicing half of my property and landscaping, fixing half of it and not the other.
But again, I think the issue is, it's not your property. It's actually the public right of way. You're encroaching into the actual right of way.
I understand. Well, I purchased this property as is. It's been like this for 15 years. I have the survey. No one ever told me I was encroaching. But again, you cannot, I mean, you cannot just take half my hedges away, or is that what you're proposing? But is the town willing to at least extend the wall to where my driveway is?
And again, just for the record, I don't have the ability, nor does Lisette, we spoke earlier this afternoon, to issue a change order to construct all the way down to the driveway. So the only people that could do that is the body you're in front of tonight, the mayor and council.
Okay.
And again, if they direct me to do so, then we would have to issue a change order to the contract. Well, the contract hasn't been signed yet, but there would have to be a change order to that and amend that contract. But again,
And
we're
I
not
think
doing.
Yeah, I also just
only
wanted
doing
to
our-
add, sorry, that apparently according to the schedule, like you're gonna actually go back like 3 feet onto the property, because that's how big the encroachment was. Is that correct?
Correct.
So I mean, this is a big chunk of land, and it's also gonna greatly impact the aesthetic in front of my house. So for the mayor and council, that's my concern right now, and I'm requesting that we work together to come up with a solution that's not going to make my property look ridiculous.
Okay, Lizette, should I take over at this point?
Yes.
Ms. Senek, Councilman Kanigo and I have been on the land use board, and we seem to run into this a lot, where owners are encroaching on borough property. The issue then becomes who should be responsible for paying for an illegal planting on borough property. That's the issue before the council. You're asking for the people of River Edge, the taxpayers, to cover an illegal encroachment onto borough property. I'm not saying the council's for or against it. I just want to frame it correctly. And whatever we decide for you, we are to some extent not obligated, but expected to do for others. So we would set a precedent, and a precedent is a serious matter. I'm going to ask Mr. Sarlo to chime in on that in a moment. But first, I'd like to ask Mr. Costa. Mr. Costa, what burden would the taxpayer have to be charged for this sort of change order?
Based on the bids that we received, or the low bid, roughly $5,000, Mayor.
That's a substantial amount of money. Mr. Sarlo, can you comment on the legal issues that are present in this request? You are muted.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. You know, as you just indicated, past precedent is, one that once you decide to do it for one homeowner, then you have to do it for all homeowners. You can look at it like that, or you can look at it, hey, we're gonna look at it at a case-by-case basis. So you can also look at it like that, because not every situation is exactly the same. Certain facts warrant different outcomes. Encroachment on borough property, once the borough finds out that there is an encroachment on borough property, the borough can demand that the homeowner remove that encroachment. We do hear from, and it is, and I take the homeowner's word that, hey, I did not know I was encroaching on the property. And that happens a lot, right? No one looks at really the survey when they're planting the shrubs or the bushes.
Those
But
bushes were
unfortunately-
there. Sorry, those bushes were there when I purchased the property.
Understood. But once you purchase the property, that becomes your,
Okay.
that the encroachment is now on you. And the survey that was done with the purchase of the house shows the encroachment. So I understand it was there, totally get it. So obviously the borough, once it's in the borough's right away, the borough needs to act upon that encroachment. They need to make sure now it's that encroachment is not affecting the safety, the health, the welfare of any of the residents in that area, walking by and so forth like that. So in this case, Mayor, I understand the homeowner's point, and this is not from a legal thing. It would be half and half, and from the aesthetic thing. So you guys could unfortunately decide, but the encroachment, as Mr. Costa said, is an issue here, and probably should be rectified unless, again, we provide a license like we've done in other situations.
Okay, so let me frame this before the council. I think there are several issues. Mr. Sarlo and Mr. Costa, please correct me if I make any mistake whatsoever. So issue number one, this ADA ramp needs to go forward. So the bushes that are part of the bid will have to be removed. A retaining wall will be built, and there is no room for discussion about that. Issue number two, do we require, now that we are made aware of it, and we are made aware of it, there is no ignoring this, that I believe the bushes that continue down, the not included, would also be an encroachment upon borough property, the residents' property, and not the residents, the people's property of a river edge. Will we require those bushes to be removed? And in order that the borough property is being preserved, or will we grant a license for her to leave the bushes there if she chooses to do so? Issue number three, do we feel that we should be doing a change order that will be $5,000 or thereabouts to continue the wall the rest of the way down on borough property as some sort of accommodation? Issue four, will we use taxpayer money to replace shrubbery that wasn't supposed to be on that part of the land? Tom, Rob, have I broken that down correctly?
Sounds perfect, Mayor.
Yeah, nice job, Mayor.
Okay, so let's not deal with issue number one, because that is not before us. We have went out to bid, and that work will occur. Lizette, do you want to chime in?
I just want to add, there were 8 contractors who picked up bid specs, 7 were submitted. The lowest bid was $158,055. Now, in our budget, in order to award a contract, the balance we have for that project is $149,200. If the lowest bidder is responsive and responsible and is awarded that contract, I already have to work with the CFO to find almost $8,900 to make that contract whole.
So we're already short almost $9,000.
Correct.
And this change order would then make us short $14,000 or
And
thereabouts.
that, yes, and that's assuming that the lowest bid has all the paperwork in place in order to be awarded a contract.
And what would be the next lowest bid? And what's the difference for them?
The next lowest bid is only a $500 difference,
So
But
9,400.
but then number 3, because you have to look at the 3 lowest bidders,
Oh, okay.
is an extra $10,000 difference.
Okay.
So those
So
are
we're
the
talk-
numbers we're working with.
Okay. So we're talking about $9,000 to $10,000 that we already need to find funding for. And we're talking if we should grant the residents, Ms. Zenek's request, another 5,000 on top of that.
9 to 19,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, 9 to 19,000.
Mhm.
Okay. Wait, where's the 9 to 19,000 coming?
The third lowest bidder was 168.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 9 to 19,000. Okay, so 9 to 19,000 plus 5,000 on top of that, correct? So we're really talking 14 to 24,000 if we chose to honor the request of Ms. Zenek, or I'm not, honor is the incorrect word. If we chose to grant the request of Ms. Zenek. All right, I don't want to leave the council in the lurch on this. I want to give them a little bit more direction. It is the council's decision. However, I would warn the council against making such an accommodation because I do believe it sets a precedent. We're already about $9,000 behind where we need to be, and we shouldn't be spending the residents' money lest there's cause. This is not something that we created. This is a past precedent. We have considered past precedent, but in the most recent one that we considered, we made it clear to the resident that it was, if they wanted an accommodation, it was at their cost. So having said that, I now open it to the council for debate and discussion. And Ellen, if you wish to speak, you have to unmute yourself and call out, or if you have the ability to raise your hand, you can do that.
Can we get rid of the picture?
Sure. Could we stop the presentation? Great, thank you. There we go.
All right, I'll start, I guess. Mr. Mayor, if that's all right.
Sure.
I tend to agree with you. I think it would be a dangerous precedent to set. And I honestly don't see that much of an issue with if the homeowner chooses to leave the shrubbery there. I think that we can give her a license. There's lots of homes in River Edge where some shrubbery was put in for one reason, then removed, and there's just pieces here and there. I mean, it's a normal thing that you see in towns. So I don't see where even removing just half of it would make it look terrible. And then she's got room on her yard to do whatever she wants. I don't think this is the responsibility of the residents of River Edge. So I would be inclined to agree with the mayor and vote no on that particular issue.
I do need for the rest of the council to chime in some way or another.
I would agree with Dario, with Councilman Kanigo.
Okay,
I would agree as well. It should,
I would agree as well.
I agree too.
I think that's the best course of action to avoid a precedent, unfortunately.
okay, so what we, there we are, Ms. Zenek. If I believe I heard what the council said is we would not be willing to extend the wall. We would not be willing to replace the shrubbery. But if you wish to leave the shrubbery that is on borough property that will not be removed based on the contract that has been bid on, we would grant you a license to leave that shrubbery there. That is not something that the council is obligated to do. In fact, working on the land use board, we do require residents to remove stuff that is outside their property line. It happens from time to time. It's not the fault of maybe the current owner, but it still becomes your obligation once you accept the property. Councilman Kaniga.
As far as the license is concerned, I know this is our purview, but before it becomes our purview, perhaps it should go before the land use board, because there may be interests that I am not thinking about here, which would weigh against granting such a license. So although I'd be in favor for it generally, I think perhaps it should go before the land use board.
Mr. Sarlo, can you give us an opinion on that?
Just trying to think of the jurisdiction that the land use board would have. They're not going to be, unless there's a setback a front yard setback that they would be requiring. To get jurisdiction, they would need to have some type of, she would need to be requesting some type of variance relief. And I don't think that would be an issue here. So I'll ask Mr. Costa to weigh in.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Right, there's no jurisdiction to send it to them. I don't know what they would be granting her.
Okay, I didn't know if there was something that I wasn't thinking about. That's fine by me.
Yeah, at this point, there's an encroachment in the public right of way.
One question, one general question, and maybe this is now traffic and safety. The height of the bushes at that location, because it's right where the school is. So I know there's cars coming in and out, and there's children in and out. Could that be something that we have to consider in any way whatsoever, since we're talking about an encroachment on borough property and the eyesights for drivers coming out of the Surrey Lane or onto Fifth? So that's my only other thought.
So, Councilman, you know that if there was ever an issue there and somebody said their view was blocked because of the shrubs and a deep dive was done and found that the borough owned property, we would be a party to that lawsuit, whether we get out based on a license agreement or not. But you make a valid point. We would, we would probably be brought in initially.
In that case, Mr. Costa, do you wish to chime in on what you would perceive as the line of sight, and would that be an issue from an engineering point of view?
Well, basically, yeah. I mean, Mayor, basically the line of sight is take the curb line, go 15 feet back, and draw the object 3.5 foot high off for the eye, 2.5 foot to the center of the lane for the object that you can see. And again, obviously, these hedges are grown, they're mature, and they're in the actual right of way. Yes, could they block sight? Absolutely. And again, just for the homeowner, and again, because we have to replace the ramp and make grade, we're replacing roughly 15 feet of sidewalk, which is similar to what we've done on these other ramps. And that's why the line of demarcation stops. We're not doing the entire frontage. We're not doing the entire sidewalk, but it's probably in everybody's best interest to move the bushes outside of the right of way so they don't impact sight distance and everything else. But again, it's up to the council, whatever the council decides. Obviously, the facts are in front of you, but my personal opinion, I think your best is to get everything out of the public right of way, move it onto private property. If anybody slips, if anybody falls, if anybody gets injured, everybody's in the game. No question about it.
When I ask the council hold for a second, I need to speak to the clerk. Ms. Dodd, are you there?
I am, Mayor. I'm just in the process of trying to log on through my work computer. My phone is about to die. I'm sorry.
All right, so I'm going to ask everyone to hold for a period of time that Ms. Dodd needs to switch to another device. Ann, are we good? We can't hear you.
You're muted.
She has to call in separately because the mic there doesn't work.
Ah, no worries.
Okay, Ann, I think you're good.
We still can't hear you. Ah, there it is.
There we go.
Ann, unmute yourself and let's see if it works. You seem to
Can
be.
you hear me now?
But you have to close your mic as well as your speaker, both things on the computer, both mic and speaker.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay,
Can
sorry.
you hear us?
Yes.
I'm sorry for the delay. So I would recommend to the council that they consider whether they wish to grant, we currently are thinking about granting a license for her to keep the shrubs. That's the accommodation we're currently thinking.
Nobody even asked me if that's what I want, so
Ms.
you can
Zelnick,
talk about
this
it.
is not something that, I will definitely direct that question to you in a moment. But right now, we're dealing with the legal issues, and those legal issues take precedent over individual, sadly, homeowners, because we have the obligation to protect the borough, both by statute and by ethics.
I would have thought this would have been addressed prior to this meeting, that you would be
No,
aware
by
of what the
state
legal
law,
issues
the Open
are.
Public Meeting Act, we can't discuss this as a body unless we're in open session.
Okay.
So, to the question is, what Councilman Kanigo suggested and what the council seemed to be interested in doing was simply granting a license to leave the bushes. But now, upon further advice from our experts, it would seem that that is not something that we're capable of doing. But I open it to the council for consideration, debate, and discussion.
Well, before we even debate it, should we find out if the homeowner even wants to? It sounds to me like she doesn't, so why waste our time debating it if she doesn't want it?
Okay, so if the council has no objection, I'll go to Ms. Zelnick at this point. Does the council have objection?
Zenik, thank you.
Zenik,
I'm not sure I want half of the bushes there, but I'm not ready to make a decision right now. I need to talk with my contractor as well as some other people, and I can get back to the council.
I don't believe that the council is going to extend that, but they might. Does the council wish to extend this to, well, actually, we need to move forward with the bid, don't we, Ms. Apertola? Mr. Acosta?
Yes, the bids are currently being reviewed
Right.
with intent to award on March 14th, your next meeting.
Right, but Mayor, certainly this time, by the time you award, by the time you get contracts drawn, pre-construction meetings, so on and so forth, you're a minimum of a month away,
Okay,
if not more. So you definitely have time.
all
And
right.
again, you know what? Just for the record, I don't think anybody wants to make anybody upset. And obviously 15 years ago, you didn't plant the shrubs, the bushes. And I understand where the homeowner's coming from with the aesthetic.
Yeah.
So we are giving them some shrubs. We're giving you shrubs. We're giving you a wall back. And again, maybe you need to speak to your contractor and then obviously get back to the council.
Well, I'd like to know exactly what kind of shrubs and what the wall is gonna look like. So
No
who
problem.
can provide me with that?
I can meet with you. We'll go over that. That's not an issue.
Well,
Not
that
an
would be
issue
great.
whatsoever. Okay, and we'll get samples prior to any construction. Not to aggravate you. Obviously, it's your home and you want to make sure this is done correctly, and we'll certainly do so. I'll make time. You tell me where, when, and I will be there.
I mean, I wanna know what it's gonna look like if you remove the bushes all the way and where the wall is gonna end and how it's gonna look. So anybody who could provide that information for me, otherwise I'm gonna get my own legal involved with this because it's ridiculous. So, thank you.
You're welcome. So Mr. Costa is the borough engineer and he will meet with you. And how about this? Why don't you come back to the next meeting? Ms. Abertola, if you can put it on the agenda.
Okay, and the next meeting is in person on Monday, March 14th.
Okay, so Ms. Zenick, if I'm saying it correctly this time, you would need to come to the Borough Hall. This would not be a Zoomed meeting.
What time is the meeting?
Usually 6:30.
Mr. Mayor, what decision are we putting off?
You know,
exactly?
that's my question too. What's the decision? I mean, I wasted an hour so far. I don't wanna waste another hour.
You asked her if she was even interested in, Ms. Councilman, said that we wanted to ask her if she was even interested in the shrubbery.
Right, well, I said that, I said that, Mr. Mayor, because from what the resident said, it sounded, she said you didn't even ask me if I wanted, so it sounded like perhaps she didn't want it, but it doesn't sound like the resident made up her mind, and frankly, I think we should debate the license issue in any event. And then we'll have
That's, of course, your prerogative. I open it to that debate.
It's up to everybody. I'm not trying to push one way or another. I'm just saying that it's before us now. I don't see it making a difference in a couple of weeks.
So I need the rest of the council to unmute themselves and enter into the debate.
Is the license to allow a portion of the hedge to remain? Is that correct, Dario? Is that what you're?
Right, that's my understanding, and then that piggybacks into my concern about line of sight, which our professionals said already, yeah, it kind of blocks the line of sight, and given the location, so
Yeah,
given all that, I'm not
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, given all of that, I think that's a very valid point and a very valid concern. So I don't know that I'd be inclined to grant a license to allow the hedges to remain and as they are today, based on what our professionals have shared with us.
I agree.
You think that the yellow section of the picture from my driveway is blocking line of sight to turn onto Surrey? Because the other bushes are all gonna be removed. I don't understand what the line of sight issue is. If
Mr. Costa,
anything,
if you
there's
chime
been
in
an
on
issue
that,
for
that would be good.
15 years with the hedges growing on the corner. I don't see how the other side is affecting the right of way or this line of sight.
So I can actually answer that. Mr. Sorrell, please chime in if I make a mistake. So once the borough is put on notice, we become legally responsible. So the borough, the council didn't know that your bushes were affecting line of sight. It's pretty clear that a portion of those bushes are affecting line of sight. Now we're aware of it, and we can't be unaware of it. And so if there was ever a car accident and they sued the borough, even if we grant you a license, there would be a question of whether we could simply say, well, we're not responsible when we are made aware. Mr. Sarlo, could you chime in on that?
Yeah, Mayor, again, under the Title 59, I don't want to get into the legal requirements or, but to sue the borough, somebody would need either active or constructive notice of a dangerous condition. And clearly now there's active notice, right? You're made aware of it. And then the issue becomes whether it's a dangerous condition and palpably unreasonable that you did not take any action on.
Does that help?
That's fine. So who's going to be responsible for removing the hedges on the other half if that's what we're going to do?
Well, I believe that's your responsibility, but that we might be able to take care of. Mr. Costa.
We'll take care of it. I mean, I think that's a minimal, not an issue. All the hedges will be gone if you want them. Again, I think it's best if I meet you face to face in the field. And then I think we go over it, and then certainly I'll report back to the council.
Okay, so we'll
I
meet
think that's
before
the
March
best.
14th?
100%. Yeah. I'll meet you this week. I'll meet you in the morning. I'll meet you whenever you want, in the evening, whatever time, date, tell me, and I'll be there.
Okay, how can I best get a hold of you? Just the phone number on the letter? Or do you have an email?
Absolutely. You can email me. You can call me. If you want to email me, I'll send you my cell phone number. However you want to do it, I'll be there.
It's on the letter already, I think.
Well, it's an office number. I was calling, nobody got back to me. I had to call a couple of people. So I have the email. So, okay, it's Robert, right?
It is, yes.
Okay, I'll send you an email and let you know my
Send me,
availability.
send me your contact info. And again, if you want to do it this week, not a problem.
Okay.
All
What are
right.
the hours?
You tell me, whatever
Okay.
time you want, as long as I'm available this week. It shouldn't be, I'll work around your schedule. You call
All right,
me.
because like, I'm concerned what's gonna happen then with my grass where the wall is gonna end and where like the grass is gonna end and what that's gonna look like. So like, I don't know who can like, if that's something that you
I'm
would
gonna
be
meet-
able to walk me
I'm gonna
through.
meet you, I'm gonna meet you, and two things will happen. You'll either say, he's a nice guy, or you say, I hate this guy. Either one of those two things will happen, and then we'll go from there. But I will do my best to make you happy. I will do.
I
my-
just don't want to spend $5,000 to fix my property.
Understood. So let's meet, and then we can figure it out together.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, at this point, since it was a request for accommodation and we're not granting the accommodation, I don't believe we need any motion or any action of the council. We are aware of it. Our borough engineer will go to the site. The shrubbery has to be removed because we're aware, at least to the line of sight, if not all the way through. And we are considering that we would remove the bushes for her. Is there, Mr. Sarlo or Ms. Apertola, is there any action that the council needs to take at this point?
I don't believe so. I think you need to wait and have the engineer report back.
All right.
I just want to add, the in-person meetings start at 7 PM.
Oh, really? Okay. All right, good.
Said I'll make sure I do hair and makeup for that meeting if need be. Okay.
All right.
Absolutely.
I'll wait for your email, and then I'll certainly get back to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for
How do
coming
you
and-
pronounce, is it Zenik?
Zenik, yeah.
Zenik, okay. Thanks, Ms. Zenik.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good evening.
Okay, we now move to Historic Commission meeting. Is that?
Okay, there, with everyone moving back to in-person meetings effective tomorrow, the Historic Preservation Commission has requested to extend their virtual format for the next 2 months. They made their request through their council liaison, Councilwoman Malalari. But this is something that I cannot grant permission for. It has to come before the full governing body. And Ms. Dodd also received a similar request from the Municipal Alliance about remaining virtual. I just don't recall for how long they had requested.
I can just chime in, Lizette, if I could, about Municipal Alliance as their liaison. They weren't looking for an extension. They were looking, we had one member looking for a permanent hybrid option, which I think I understand is not permissible. Is that correct?
Mr. Sarlo.
Yeah, Mayor, I don't think that would be if everyone's going back, then I think everyone needs to go back. If you want to grant a very short 1-2 month extension to a certain commission, I wouldn't have a problem with that, but there would need to be a definitive end date. I think it's going to be hard for the public to make a determination which commissions they want to go is still on video and which ones are still in, now are in open or public. I think it makes it a little bit more difficult for the public with regard to that. So one or two want an extension for a definitive time, that's your call.
Would that be more, would that then lead to a violation of at least the heart of the Open Public Meeting Act?
Well, I mean, they're still having they would still be having the meetings, open, but people would have to obviously zoom in. But I think, again, once the mayor and council feels it's safe to return, and if they want to put additional safety protocols in place in person, I wouldn't say don't do it just because for sake of convenience.
If I can,
it's what it seems like it is.
The Historic Commission, the chair, since they're all seniors, that was their concern. They wanted to push it for like 2 months. They said March and April, and then they will try to go back. And depending on the construction that is going to start at the borough, there was their concern too. When it's going to start, how is it going to affect it? Where are we going to do the meetings? So that was their issue.
So it's a council's decision. I'm just going to chime in with a little thought. It becomes difficult for the public to figure out which meetings are virtual and which meetings are in person. I think the council should consider very carefully whatever it chooses to do. And as Mr. Sarlo said, even if you choose to do that, you should do that for a very, very limited time. I open it to the council. Go ahead, Dario.
I mean, as far as this one commission is concerned, they're asking for 2 months. I know that there's a lot of older folks on this particular commission who are concerned. So I think we should grant it. And I mean, no disrespect whatsoever, but in the time that I was there as liaison, we didn't get a lot of guests coming in. So you probably have a bit better shot of getting people watching the commission from Zoom anyway. So for the next 2 months, I think it's completely appropriate to allow it for this particular one.
I would agree with.
I would agree.
I would agree as well.
Likewise.
I guess my question is then, if all the committees and commissions came before us and asked for an extension, we would have to grant it? I mean, how would we?
If the concern is we have some pre-existing conditions, we're elderly, we're still not comfortable. But if the concerns are, hey, look, this is so convenient for us, so we would like to keep doing it, that's a different, situation. So the answer, Councilwoman, is yes. If all these commissions are now going to come and say, hey, you gave it to them, let's do it for me. You guys are going to have to make that determination. You hope commissions don't do that, where the historical commission is coming to you saying, hey, look, we're really concerned about coming back right now. We want to just do it, for a quick definitive time. And you hope that the other commissions respect that position. And if they have the same concerns, okay, but not, hey, we just want to stay on because it's very convenient for us.
Okay.
Yeah, so my only comment was about the age of the individuals involved in this particular commission and health concerns. It's got nothing to do with convenience. As an aside, I said they probably get more views one way than the other, but that's not the reasons for their health.
I was saying if other commissions come in front of you and want to go extend it just because it's convenient for the other commissions, that's really not a great idea, or would be a good thing to extend just for convenience. So I'm saying other commissions coming before you saying, hey, extend it because it's convenient for them. I think Historical Commission has valid points.
May I offer a compromise? Why don't we, the council why don't we do it for 1 month instead of 2? And if we're going to do it for the Historic Commission, the question then comes, Ellen, does the Municipal Alliance want to do it because it's convenient or because they have members who are concerned about health?
The chair is not looking to pursue a hybrid option.
Okay. So I think that takes the Municipal Alliance off the table, but it's council's decision. So we're just on the Historic Commission. Does the council wish to say no for 1 month or for 2 months? But we do have to have a definitive date.
I will say, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I think 2 months is okay. They really do have some, as we honored Mary Donahue last week when she's turning 97, she is a big part of that commission, so.
Okay.
I agree.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Hey, can I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed or any abstentions? Hearing none, it is unanimous. Next item, 2021 open space project.
Last May,
Oh, hold
Mayor-
on. I just want to make sure the council understood that they've granted 2-month reprieve for only Historic Commission, correct? Good. Okay, go ahead.
last May for the 2021 Municipal Park Improvement Program of the County Open Space Trust Fund, an application was submitted for an outdoor exercise equipment to be installed at Memorial Park. And we received the contract for execution. The borough was awarded $87,165. The estimate that was submitted with the grant application came out to $197,120. The National Fitness Campaign would also provide a grant of $30,000 should the borough pursue the project. But before any contract is signed, it has to be authorized for execution by the governing body. So instead of just listing that contract for execution, I'm bringing it before the mayor and council to verify if this is a project that the borough wishes to pursue. And our recreation director is also on the meeting to answer any questions.
I'd like to frame this if I could. If any member of council feels I'm framing it unfairly, please feel free to interrupt. I think that the majority of the council, if not all of the council, is not in favor of doing this. And so the question I want to ask Lizette before the council debates is, can we reallocate this? And if so, what would be required? What kind of a project would it be? And what kind of timeline?
I did verify with the county program administrator, and the funds can be reallocated. It has to be for a municipal park improvement project. So, and what would have to be done is we have to submit a new application towards this program, and it would follow the same protocols, doing an ad in the paper, holding a public hearing, submitting a map and a budget. Then they would amend the contract to that particular project. And once we have the amended contract, the mayor and council would adopt a resolution authorizing its execution. And the terms would stay the same. The funding amount would stay the same, but if at the end of the day, the final cost to the borough is less, then the county would reduce their share of the project, and that pool would go back to the county.
All right. I open to the council. Any member of council wish to enter into discussion?
Can start. When this project came first to the governing body, one of my first questions was the long-term cost of maintenance. And I don't think that information has been provided. I cannot access my email. I know Lisa, you sent a bunch of documents, but I still cannot access the borough email. That has been a concern of mine since this was proposed. Our parks are, some of them, in dire need of repairs. Take the ice rink, where the boards outside the rink had to be closed last week. So there are parks that could benefit from this relocation of funds. And one of my questions was going to be, and you answered for me, that the funding would stay the same. So that being said, I think there is a greater argument to be made to repurpose the funds for the need of those parks that are visible, that are there, that are usable every day. I've seen those equipments in other towns. They're a fad. They're sometimes become an eyesore. That's my personal opinion of what I've seen in other towns around New Jersey and elsewhere. And I know that there is a grant of $30,000 associated with this. I just don't think that that reasonably is just has any impact on long-term of what that means for Memorial Park, especially when we have other parks that are in dire need of update and upgrade.
Any other
Thank you.
member of council wish to chime in?
Yes, I agree with Councilwoman Montesano Cohen. There are Brookside Park in particular is in need of new equipment there. So I think reallocation of the funds would be better use instead of a fitness fitness type thing.
Councilman Kanigo.
I agree with what has been said so far, and I made the same objections last year when it was initially presented to us. I asked numerous questions at the time. I know Councilwoman Montesano Cohen did as well, and those questions still to this day haven't been answered. So I'm happy that we can reallocate them. I want to thank the Rec Commission for their work. I know you guys work hard on it, and you know, these funds will be used and they will go to projects that need attention in town. We're struggling right now with the budget. We're working very hard to try to make sure that as least as possible of a tax impact is on the resident here in River Edge, and not an easy job. We spent 4 hours on Saturday just going line by line, item by item. We're going to be doing more on Wednesday night, probably another 4-hour session. And a lot more work has been done beforehand. So, you know, I thank you all for the work you've done. It is recognized, it is appreciated, but I think these funds are better allocated to some more pressing needs in our community.
Any other member of council?
So, Mayor, if I could,
Sure.
So I know this project has been long in the coming. I know that Carolyn, our rec director, and the commissioners, both past and present, have been advocating for this, and I think it has great value, and I have always supported it. However, I do think that we are in a different time than we were even a year ago. And so I have to agree with my council colleagues that there are some serious pressing issues before the borough, and that it would be more prudent to reallocate the funds at this point to other more pressing needs. That isn't to say that in the future, if the environment is different, that we wouldn't entertain the idea again.
Any other member of council wish to chime in? Okay, so Lizette, I think the will of the council is pretty clear for at least this particular grant. We would like to reallocate it. Do you need more direction about reallocation?
Well, I would need to know to why you would like it to be reallocated. Would it go to the hockey dashers? And because in order to draft, I need to draft a new application with our borough engineer and start working on that as soon as possible. Because we have on the capital budget for recreation that we'll review on Wednesday, the hockey board dashers are there as a capital expense. And the 2022 application that's being recommended is for playground equipment for Brookside. So I just need to know to what to repurpose the grant to.
Is this not something that Mr. Melito and Ms. Baldanza should be helping us to kind of identify what really needs to be addressed immediately?
Under Chapter 79 and using open space funding and anything involving park facilities, athletic fields comes from the recreation director, not the DPW superintendent. He's the safety coordinator, and that's why he had to close the hockey rink.
I just meant to chime in on what they believe are the most pressing needs. I wasn't just to give you direction. I don't think we can say what the most pressing needs are for the town.
Carolyn's here. Carolyn, if you want to unmute yourself.
Yes. Carolyn, I see your hand is up. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so my opinion would be we need to focus on the hockey dasher boards immediately. So if that's the direction we want to go with reallocating, that would be my recommendation.
Carolyn, may I interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
I'm concerned that would not use all $87,165. And as
right.
Lizette said, that would mean that we would be losing some of the grant. So my concern, and maybe the rest of the council too, is that we broaden it. Not my concern. My suggestion is that we broaden it with the help of the advice or input from from Jason and from the commission, and so that we can craft a new grant, new request that would use as close to the $87,165 as possible. Is I can see everyone, but Ellen, is the council in general agreement with what I've just stated? Okay, I see everyone nodding. Ellen, are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
So Carolyn, working with Lizette and working with Jason and of course the commission, can you do that within the next week or two? Is that something that we could have that we could achieve?
I believe so. I've been in touch with a few vendors already for dasher boards. So we have been working on that, and I could do a walkthrough with Jason as well to get some ideas for, there's the space around the rink as well, and try to optimize this grant opportunity for improvement at Memorial Park.
Can I throw in an idea? Memorial Park is pretty trampled down. I know it's all rooted because of all the trees, and the trees are great. But is there any way we might be able to look at either raising, using a soil replacement system or some sort of aeration system so that the park is a little less hard pack? Just an idea, please.
No.
You don't need to answer right now.
No, I agree with you, Mr. Mayor. That was actually in some of my park improvement plans that I had sent last year to you that I didn't get the chance to review with the council. But definitely, if the funding, if it fits into the funding, that is definitely something we can, look at as an option. But
can park security qualify?
I'm not sure.
I don't believe so. I think what would make it most competitive to do the swap is improving the dasher boards and the entrance to the hockey rink. So any type of pathway improvement, so it's tied in all together to that specific site.
Okay. Any other member want to chime in with a couple of thoughts, because now is the time to do it?
Sure, I have another one, and I think this ties to your comments, Mayor, about the flooding and the irrigation. That part of the park where people use it to practice, tennis, I don't know what you call that wall, but that gets flooded. It rains and it gets completely flooded. I don't know whether that can be tied into, it needs painting, it needs to be, I think, the far end towards Webb is completely unusable when it rains. Maybe that's an opportunity there as well.
So to bounce off your idea, maybe we need to talk to Mr. Costa about maybe putting in a drainage pit or an additional one. Lizette, I don't know if that's something we could throw in, but maybe.
We'd have to look into the parameters, but it's usually one site and any immediate surrounding area as a park improvement. And then what they would say is, well, that could be, the 2022 application or somewhere as a separate application.
I was just gonna ask, is it just the boards for the hockey rink? I thought that there was additional improvements that needed to be done.
Carol?
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Sorry, Karen, I was just asking if it was just the boards that needed to be replaced. I thought it was additional repairs that needed to get to be done in the hockey rink. But I could be incorrect.
Well, we just resurfaced it. So it's really just the boards, but we would need the professional to come out because they would need to look at the poles. I'm not sure if poles need to be replaced as well. So, without having somebody come out to give a quote, I'm not sure exactly what we're looking at, but I will work with Jason as well, and we'll go back to the drawing board and come up with something, and obviously working with Lizette and Costa.
Dario?
So as not to lose any money, should we also look at whatever improvements need to be done at Brookside as an alternative site, so that if that site actually requires more money, I'm not saying we're not going to fix the hockey rink, that there's money already set aside or proposed to be set aside for that, but for the grant money, should we maybe also say, well, let's just take a look at what Brookside needs, because if we get the whole pot of money for Brookside, but not for the rink, then maybe it's better for us to pay for the rink and allocate the grant to Brookside. Again, just
I have received some quotes already from a vendor in preparation of the application for this year from Brookside for replacement of that playground, and it would be more than what was allocated to us this year. It's looking more like 400. So yes, so we wouldn't have enough in this grant for Brookside.
Could we do the Brookside in phases?
Well, we were looking at the playground replacement, which includes the surface and installation. So
I'm just simply saying, I want to try to keep as much as that 87,165 as possible. I want you to be as creative as possible. I want you to coordinate with Lizette and Jason and the commission. And I want you all to do it in 7 to 10 days. If that's not too ambitious.
I think we could figure it out, and no problem.
All right. Is the council in agreement that we're going to, does this need to be decided, Lizette, before we meet again? And if so, do we want to grant tentative approval? Or does it something that needs our action tonight? Or is it something that can, that the tentative approval that is, or is it something that we can wait until the next meeting?
All that's needed is for consensus. The formal approval would take place when a new application is drawn and there's an official public hearing, and we go through that process.
So what say ye, council? Are we good with leaving it in Lizette, Carolyn, and Jason's hands, or do we need for them to, I mean, of course, they're going to keep us up to date via emails, but I would expect that, but are we generally good with this plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. All right, I think you have direction, if that's okay. So should we move on? Or do we need, do we have anything else for discussion that's not listed on the agenda? Lizette?
No, there's nothing further.
All right. Could I have, we're gonna move the minutes as a group. When I do, could I have a, hold on, there's something from, 1 second here. Hi, I'm Brianna Eder, and currently on the Rec Commission, Mr. Kachinigo. What exactly were your questions on the NFC projects? We're not open to the public, Ms. Eder. So we're about to open to the public after the minutes. So at that time, you can ask that question, okay? I don't want to put you off. Okay, yes. So can I have a motion from, after I finish reading it, from Council President Kaufman and a second from Councilwoman Bastide for the minutes. So could I have a motion and second for approval of the minutes of the Mayor and Council closed session meeting of February 14, 2022? Approval of the minutes of the Mayor and Council and closed session and special session of February 16, 2022. Approval of the minutes of the Mayor and Council special meeting of February 17, 2022. And so we're going to do only the motion in the second, and then I'm just going to offer a quick statement. Go ahead.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. In a moment, we'll have a roll call for that. If any member of council needs to abstain or oppose, which I don't know if that's possible, for any individual element of the three, they may say so at that time. Ms. Dodd, roll call.
Mayor, you just missed noting that the closed session of February 17th was also listed for approval.
I thought I said it. I didn't?
There was, I don't think so. There's a special meeting and a closed session, so it's both.
Okay. Oh, so it's a special session and closed session for February 17th.
Correct.
Okay, so that would include all of said prior. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastide?
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo?
Yes.
Council President Kaufman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Malolari?
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen?
Yes.
Okay, could I have a motion from Councilman Kanigo and a second from Councilwoman Montesano Cohen to open to the public on any item on the agenda only?
So moved.
Second.
Tom, do we need to have roll call? Or can we just say all in favor?
All in favor is fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Hearing none, we are now open to the public. We have a comment from Brianna Eder. Ms. Eder, would you like to say it verbally? If so, we can open your mic.
Yes, that's fine. So I have actually.
So you have to say your full name and address. That's required.
Sure. Brianne Eder, 711 Elm Avenue, River Edge.
Go ahead.
I border Memorial Park. I've actually seen the National Fitness Campaign project. I went down to Brick. I've seen it myself. Mr. Kanigo, you had mentioned that you had questions that were never answered by us. So I had never heard your questions. So is it possible that you can send them to us, or that way, if this comes up in the future, we are able to answer them for you?
Sure, they were addressed to Ms. Baldanza at one of the budget hearings last year. Both Ms. Montesano Cohen and I said several of the questions. We asked about yearly upkeep and maintenance, what the cost would be, who would be responsible, what the contracts would state, things of that nature. I don't remember all the questions, but I know that I haven't gotten any answers to them. I haven't really seen a sketch or an idea of where this is going to go. There was some mention that perhaps the section nearest to the tennis wall would be used. I'm not quite sure where in Memorial Park it was going to be placed. There was a lot of questions, as I recall, but again, it was over a year ago.
Right.
So, and they're all public meetings on our YouTube channel.
Okay, and I am upset to hear Lisette say that this is just sad. I am a physical therapist. I've been working for 8 years in physical therapy. I have seen residents in this town asking for outdoor physical equipment for longer than that. I've been a resident for 37 years. So I don't think that this is a fad. I think of this as something that other towns have that are important. So I hope that we can review this later on. I know that you've decided that the grant will go elsewhere, but I'm hoping that this is something that can be tabled to a later date then when you feel it's more appropriate. Because I don't see this as a fad. I see this as something that your town and your residents really want.
So, Brianna, this is not going to be tabled because we're looking to reappropriate the grant fund, but it can be brought back up. It can become new business next year, or for that matter, anytime going forward. So if the commission would like to do that, they can draft a new proposal or redraft the old proposal and send it to the council for next year's consideration.
Wonderful. That's what I meant. Thank you so much.
Sure. Is there anyone else?
If anyone has a question, just raise your hand and I'll allow you to speak. I do not see any other raised hands.
Okay. All right, I'm just giving a few more seconds. All right, could I have a motion from Councilwoman Kinsella and a second from Councilwoman Molinari to close to the public on items on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstention? We're up to agenda item number 10. No, I'm sorry. We're up to agenda item number 9, appointments and personnel changes. Could I have a motion from, I'm just going to go in order if everybody's okay with that. Could I have a motion from Council President Kaufman and a second from Councilwoman Bastide to approve the appointment of Stephanie Butler to the Board of Health for a 3-year term through 12/31/24, effective February 28th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We do need a roll call for this. It is open for debate. Is there debate? Hearing none. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastide,
Yes.
Zuniga,
Yes.
Council President Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Molinari,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
I don't believe Stephanie is here. Stephanie, are you here? If so, please raise your hand or indicate in some way. And if you are, I'll swear you in. If not, that's okay. Yeah, I didn't see her in the list, so I didn't think she was here. All right, Stephanie, if you're watching this later on YouTube, if you could go down to the borough office and get sworn in by the clerk, that would be great. And we thank you. Stephanie is an epidemiologist. No, I didn't say that right. Somebody help me. You know what I mean.
Epidemiologist.
Yeah.
Epidemiologist. She's a great win for the town. We are so grateful for her volunteering her time and energy for the health department. We really, really appreciate it. Okay, we're up to item number 11, second ordinance hearing, second reading and hearing of the ordinance. We have two ordinance, 22-2 and 22-3. We have to open to the public and on the ordinance, and then we have to close the public and then open for adoption. Okay, could I have to open to the public, could I have a motion from Councilman Kanigo, a second from Councilwoman Montesano Cohen. Ordinance 22-2, an ordinance amending the code of the Borough of River Edge, authorizing and encouraging electrical vehicle supply and service equipment, EVSE, and make-ready parking spaces. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, that's right. Okay, good. It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please. Oh, wait. Tom, do we need a roll call for an opening?
No, all in favor, sign. not
All in
just for
favor,
any-
please say aye.
For an introduction.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Okay, is there any member of the public who would like to ask a question or make a comment about ordinance 22-2?
Does not look like it.
Could I have a motion from Councilwoman Kinsella and second from Councilwoman Mallory to close the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed, any abstention? Hearing none, we now, by the way, 201-599-6300, shouldn't that be moved back into it? No, that's Ann. Ann, that's
That's
you.
me.
Yeah, okay.
I just wanted to let you know, I sent an email earlier today, but I'm not sure that it was received. This ordinance, the land use board hasn't had the opportunity to review it yet to determine consistency with the master plan. So we should carry the adoption until the next meeting to allow them to conduct that review.
So that would require us to have a motion to table, right, Ann?
Correct.
Okay, and the land use board's next meeting is
March 9th.
March 9th. So I believe we probably want to have a motion to table until March 14th. Would you agree?
That's a work session for the land use. That's a special work session meeting.
That's right. So the next land use board would, Daria, that's a work session. So the next land use board would be the 23rd, right?
Yes.
Help me out with this.
Yes, correct.
So we would
I
be.
did receive an email from Ed Alter to say he was going to add this to the agenda on the 9th.
Well, just can we, is there any downside to us moving it to the meeting of March 28th? Was that?
No, there wouldn't, because the state law exists. What this does is allows the borough to put in very limited discretionary regulations like signage and parking width. So there's no time is not of the essence here, since state statute already takes care of the majority of this regulation.
Okay. So could I have a motion, let's reverse it this time. Could I have a motion from Councilwoman Bastide and a second from Councilwoman Kaufman to table this to the March 28th council meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I believe this requires a roll call because I believe it requires a 2/3 vote. So roll call.
Councilwoman Bastide?
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo?
Yes.
Council President Kaufman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mallory?
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen?
Yes.
Okay, that was a unanimous vote. Okay, could I have a motion this time from Councilwoman Montesano Cohen, and a second from Councilman Kanigo for ordinance 22-3, an ordinance amending the revised general ordinance of the Borough of River Edge, chapter 33, entitled Fire Department?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to open to the public. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstention? Okay, we're open to the public.
If you have a question or comment on this, just raise your hand and I'll let you speak. I see none.
Okay, could I have a motion from Councilwoman Mallory and a second from Councilwoman Kinsella to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstention? Could our BA please give the public a brief explanation of what we're doing?
Yes, the fire department ordinance was completely revised this past fall. And as part of the codification process, our codification company, General Code, caught conflicting language. And so it was brought forward to Fire Chief Caridi, and it's just to make a correction in the language so that way there is consistency.
All right. So could I have a motion from Councilwoman Montesano Cohen, and second from Councilman Canigo to adopt ordinance chapter 33 entitled Fire Department?
So moved.
Second.
It is open to debate. Is there debate? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Bastidt,
Yes.
Councilman Canigo,
Yes.
Council President Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Malalari,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Okay, that was unanimous. Thank you. By the way, I skipped over monthly reports. Thank you, Councilwoman Kaufman, for reminding me of that. Land Use Board, January 18, 2020. Building Department, January 2022. Any member of the public who would like to see those reports may only go down to Borough Office and the clerk will give you a copy. All right, resolutions 22-98 through 22-05. Could I have a motion from Councilwoman Bastidt and a second from Councilwoman Kaufman to move motions 22-98 through 22-105?
So moved.
Second.
This is open for debate or for discussion. Is there any debate or discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Bastidt,
Yes.
Councilman Canigo,
Yes.
Council President Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Malalari,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Could we have our finance chair move 22-106, payment of the bill, and one member of the finance committee second it?
At a regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, held on February 28th, 2022, be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge approve the following expenditures. Current fund, $253,733.20. Capital fund, $296,346.48. Grant fund, $1,495. Trust other fund, $15,550.50. Payroll fund, $1,936. Trust other developers fund, $2,235. Self-insurance trust fund, $36,362.60. So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastidt,
Yes.
Councilman Canigo,
Yes.
Council President Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Malalari,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
There is nothing listed under new business. Does any member of council wish to raise new business? Hearing none. There is nothing under old business. Does any member of council wish to raise old business? Hearing none. Could I have a motion from Councilwoman Malalari and a second from Councilwoman Kinsella to open to the public on any comment the public wishes to make?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any
Aye.
abstentions or opposed? We're now open to the public on any topic the public wishes to raise.
So if anyone would like to speak, just raise your hand and I will allow you to do so.
We have one calling in with a phone,
That's-
so that would be *9, right?
That's Ann.
Oh, that's Anna. I keep forgetting.
Okay. Last time doing this, guys.
No, we still have the budget.
Oh, yeah, well, okay.
Okay, could I have a motion from any member of council and a second to close the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstain? Okay, are there any council comments, other than, of course, congratulations to our 3 new sergeants? But is there anything else that the council wishes to comment on? Okay, then we're going to move to 18. Could I have a motion from Council President Kaufman and a second from Councilwoman Bastide? Resolution 22-107, resolution to go into closed session and exclude the public, closed session docket 22-2/28-1, personnel, recreation, goals committee update.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, roll call.
Councilwoman Bastide,
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo,
Yes.
Council President Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mallory,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Okay, so what that means that in a moment, I'm going to ask for a temporary adjournment. This Zoom will remain open. The council will go, unless we're doing it in this Zoom. Are we doing it in this Zoom, Michelle? Or are we going to, we got a separate one. Yeah, we do have a separate one. So this Zoom will remain open. There'll be a screenshot that will say in closed session. We'll go into closed session and then we will return here, open back up, and then close the meeting. But Lizette and Tom, I don't believe we'll open to the public again. We'll simply return to close. So if any member of public wishes to remain, they may do so to see if we take any action, which I do not believe we can. But that's the plan in order to properly do the Open Public Meetings Act. Okay, could I have a motion from a member of council to temporarily adjourn?
Mayor, before we do, could someone send me into my personal email the closed session link? I hasn't been able to log into the Borough email the entire day.
Me too, please.
I sent it to you, Lisa. It came from my personal email, so you didn't get it.
Hold.
I didn't
Lisa-
receive anything in.
You don't see it?
I see it now. Thanks.
What about you?
And
Claudia?
No, I don't have it.
I just forwarded to you.
I just sent it to both of you, to your team.
Claudiana, take a look to see if you got it from either one of them.
Yes, I just got it from Lisa. Okay.
Very good. You may have accidentally locked Ann out. See if she's in your spam folder later. Not now, okay? All right, could I have a motion and second to temporarily adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstention? Okay, we're going to leave this meeting and we are going to go to the new one. I call back into session the meeting of the Mayor and Council, February 28th, February 28th, Borough of River Edge, regular meeting. Roll call.
Here.
Kanigo here.
Did you hear me? Councilman Kanigo,
Here.
Council President Kaufman,
Here.
Councilwoman Kinsella?
Here.
Councilwoman Mallory,
Here.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen,
Here.
Mayor Papaleo.
Here. Is there any business before this body, any new or old business that wishes to be brought before this body before we adjourn? Hearing none, could I have a motion to close, to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstain? All right, everyone, thank you for great work tonight.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night,
Good night, everyone.
Take care. Night.